Welcome, wrestling fans. Welcome to Curtain Jerkin. As always, I'm your host, Jacob Grondy, reporting for the Main Event Marks YouTube channel. You can also check me out on Spotify. However you're listening to my voice, I appreciate it. And yes, I was one of the people on the East Coast of America waking up super early to watch Wrestle Kingdom. Why? Because it's my favorite wrestling show of the year, every year. I was waking up. It was 4:10. I was pounding coffee. I was feeling ridiculous. I was being called ridiculous by some people I interact with on Twitter yesterday and today for doing what I was doing. I was risking pissing off my girlfriend by making noise in the middle of the night, but it felt like Christmas morning. The feeling hit me that I've only felt a few times. I felt it at Christmas morning as a child, believe it or not, the Warped Tour as a teenager, and now in my 30s, I feel it. Wrestle Kingdom morning, early morning. I woke up at 4, guys. I skipped the first hour and a half, watched the good stuff. Watched from the tag team match to the main events live, and then went back and watched the pre-show and the undercard. That's how I do it every year. I try to get a little bit of sleep. I wake up right away, watch the good stuff right away, and then catch up on the other stuff. Because if you're spoiling like the junior tag titles for me, it's not as big of a deal than I falling asleep in the main event or something like that. So it's great every year. I love doing it. Before I rank every single match from worst to first, I do want to just maybe mention the news leaving. The news leaving Wrestle Kingdom that has nothing to do with the matches is Dolph Ziggler and Nick Nemeth showing up in suits, looking fly. How fitting. We were following Matt Riddle, Mustafa Ali, Elias, all throughout their journey after leaving the WWE, and here is the biggest WWE recent release, Dolph Ziggler showing up at Wrestle Kingdom. So it was like two stories within one on this show that we were talking about, popping up at the same time. We're going to talk more about Dolph. I thought it was interesting he showed up with Nick Nemeth. They also showed up right before the tag match. So I assumed that they were going to be exclusively a tag team in New Japan, but that was kind of silly of me, of course, because Dolph Ziggler is a former World Heavyweight Champion, and he was sitting out there a little too long, a little bit after the tag match, and we'll get into a little bit of that a little later. I'm glad he's going New Japan and not going AEW. I'm glad New Japan is getting an American star that can go when leaving Will Ospreay behind. Of course, Will Ospreay could still, the forbidden door is always open from AEW to New Japan, but of course he's going to be living in the UK, working a lot in America. It's going to be hard for him to get over there. So it's great that they picked up Dolph Ziggler, and you know what? You got to give it up for Nick Nemeth. I mean, coming over there as well, the jobber, the wingman of all wingman with Dolph Ziggler, the wingman with Nick Nemeth appearing on Wrestle Kingdom. This probably was the biggest appearance he's ever done in the world of wrestling here. But let's break it down, all 11 matches from worst to first. Number 11, the worst match on a great show, Francesca Akira and TJP versus Drilla Maloney and Clark Connors, of course, for the IWGP Junior Tag Team Championship. Akira opening a coffin on the top of the ramp, and then a demon-like Japanese warrior comes out. TJP dressed as this demon-like warrior. Looked kind of cool, especially for the first entrance of Wrestle Kingdom. Better than Kushida's old entrances, coming out dressed as the Back to the Future guys and everything like that. Wrestling in the demon mask as well. This is interesting for me. I haven't been following this junior tag development. I don't know really what's going on here. I don't know if this was just for the pageantry. Of course, TJP's wrestled in Lucha, wrestled all over the world, so he's, I think he wanted to do a big entrance like this, but I don't know if this is more of a gimmick or just something like Finn Balor does, where you kind of just see this extravagant entrance for entrance sake. Francesca Akira, I think, wrestles a lot like Finn Balor, so I wouldn't be surprised if they were influenced by Finn Balor in this entrance. Clark Connors keeping his dog tag on in this match. like I said, you can see the Finn Balor influence. I even wrote it down here in my notes. Drilla with a wild pile driver. 1-2. TJP stops the ref's hand before the ref can slam 3. I thought that was an interesting spot here. And then TJP and Akira get the win. Customary IWGP Junior Tag title change in Wrestle Kingdom. But number 10 out of 11, Kaito Kiyomiya and Shota Umino versus Evil and Ren Narita. Kaito whipping out the short shorts in the dome here, usually wearing the long pants, but here on the big show, rocking the short shorts for whatever reason. Cool to see him in New Japan as always. Of course, he's a Noah mainstay, but it kind of creeps his way into New Japan, of course, throughout the year 2020, wrestling in the G1, wrestling Okada. But Shota definitely showed up the short shorts and showed up everybody coming in a motorcycle into the Tokyo Dome. Road Warriors, eat your heart out. This looked cool as fuck. House of Torture cutting a Noah t-shirt at the top of the ramp. Starts a big brawl. Kaito working less snug here. Kind of took me out of how he was just throwing light forearms. House of Torture getting involved, of course. 2 submissions locked in. Bell sounds. They think they won, but it was House of Torture fucking with them, ringing the bell themselves. Ref gets taken out. House of Torture bullshit takes place. Ren eating a lot of forearms. 1-2. Evil breaks it up by choking Shota Umino with a t-shirt. Ren hits Shota with some sort of stick. 1-2-3. House of Torture get the victory here. I put this match ahead of the other match specifically because of the cooler entrance. Riding in on a motorcycle versus coming out of a coffin. I would say riding on a motorcycle slightly cooler than the coffin entrance. So that's how I rank these bottom level matches here. And then we have number 9, the King of Pro Wrestling, Rambo, which is kind of like New Japan's Royal Rumble that has like no repercussions and is just a fun way to kickstart their WrestleMania. Wrestle Kingdom. Tiger Tori is the referee. Chase Owens and Great O'Khan start things off. Gabe Kidd is next, someone who's had a great 2023, followed by Alex Coughlin. Jeff Cobb next here after the War Dogs come in. Master Wato. Where am I at here? Jeff Cobb. And then you got Hanare. You got Ishii, Mikey Nichols, Shane Hayes, Yujiro, all join the fray. Ring piling up here. It looks like someone's going to come in to eliminate them all, but then they didn't really have that cane in this Royal Rumble, if you know what I'm saying. Cobb eliminated, Hanare eliminated, Master Wato, Kamaru come out. Yo, who comes out sprinting in a tracksuit and threatening to use a shoe on TMDK before he gets used against him. And then Sho comes out. Yo runs up and meets Sho at the top of the ramp. They start brawling. Fujita Hayate, Michinoku Pro standout legend for over 20 years. He comes out. That's kind of cool to see him in the dome. Ishimori and Shane Hayes, they get thrown out. Nichols gone. Ishii gone. Wato gone. Dookie comes out. Dookie and Fujita get eliminated while Fujita is choking Dookie out. I thought that was kind of a cool spot here. And then Yano makes his entrance down. Rambo got to be, the favorite in this contest here, where Rambo is usually full of shenanigans. Yano definitely full of shenanigans. Yano taking his time to get to the ring. And then Takeshi Iizuka, the man with the Iron Claw, a giant of a man who has been one of the oddest wrestlers I've ever seen come in and out of New Japan Pro Wrestling. Never really liked him too much, but he did get a pop here. He had this Iron Claw gimmick, which is he's this crazy man who puts on this like metal hand over his hand, and of course he uses it as a weapon in a wrestling match. It's not my thing, I'll just say that, but he, like I said, he did get a pop here. The crowd loved it. Taichi comes out next with the Iron Fingers, with that Iron Claw. It comes into play. They both get eliminated. Chase Owens eliminated by O'Khan. And then we have Yano, Yo, O'Khan, and Ishimori as the final 4. I think this match is going to take place tomorrow at New Year's Dash. Taichi and Iizuka brawl throughout the crowd, ripping off an announcer's shirt here. That was kind of cool. And Chase Owens joins English commentary like right away. So a fun little match that had enough silly elements that kind of put it above the first two matches that I mentioned. It sits at number 9. Number 8, Tsuji versus Yuya Uemura. This was an interesting match. It was like the battle of the future aces here. I was more intrigued with this match than I was maybe any other match on the show. Umina coming in like Elvis. I guess his time in TNA is rubbing off on him. A little Memphis rubbed off on him, and then he brought a little Memphis to the Tokyo Dome. Tsuji in control. Yuya fighting back. Tsuji almost frustrated keeping the upper hand here. Tsuji did a suplex kind of like Mox where he just kind of throws him back, but then he landed in a sit down position ready for a pin. I thought that was kind of cool. Ends up getting hip toss when he goes for a spear, his finishing spear. Tsuji reminds me a lot of Roman Reigns with the look. He does a spear, and a lot of people, I say Hulk up, but I would say Tsuji like hoo-ahs, just like Roman Reigns does and he holds his arms exactly like Roman Reigns here, which is interesting to see because Roman Reigns is still like, the top guy in the industry, where usually you would see like a young wrestler who emulated someone to this extent from like maybe yesteryear, but this is a current top guy that he is, not ripping off, but you definitely see the influence here. I've argued with this online, but it's just right there. It's glaring to me. More so than I would say LA Knight and The Rock. Yuya with a bridging German 1-2 no, then hits a belly to belly 1-2-3. I was surprised at this outcome. I thought they were going to have Tsuji win, the dominant wrestler, the bigger man win, and have Yuya Uemura kind of look like the underdog and give him wins throughout 2024. But Yuya gets the win here, and Tsuji, I would say his year 2023, or maybe his year from the day after Wrestle Kingdom to this Wrestle Kingdom, is defined by 2 big losses. Losing to Sonata, where it looked like they could have put the title on him, and losing here at Wrestle Kingdom, unfortunately. But that match sits at number 8. Number 7, Tangaloa and LP versus Yoshihashi and Goto. Fresh off the match that these two teams had at the World Tag League Finals, picking up right where they left off too. The strategy here was to single out LP and get the big man out of the ring. Every time he was in there, he was going for choke slams. He was chopping motherfuckers. So I get that strategy. Good strategy. Choke slam by Leo. And LP with a springboard crossbody over Leo. 1-2 Goto kicks out. Pile driver from LP. Hikuleo hits a silly looking frog splash. 1-2-3. New champions here. Tangaloa and LP win the IWGP Tag Team Championship in the Dome. Looking back, I think that the Tsuji Yuya Uemura match could have been number 7 and this could have been 8, but it depends on your preference. I just like the new tag champs in the Dome because Yoshihashi and Goto, I'm tired of them. I'm kind of tired of them. So that might have been a personal preference to put this at 7. This is all kind of personal preference, but you get what I'm saying here. Number 6, Tanahashi versus Zack Sabre Jr. for the IWGP television title. A title that's only been held by Zack Sabre Jr. A title that's pretty cool here because you have to win within 15 minutes. And then, of course, Tanahashi, a man that I first saw stand triumphant in the Dome, wrestling third match on the show is kind of interesting. He's also the newly crowned official president of New Japan Pro Wrestling, so he's going to be handling a lot of stuff behind the scenes. So maybe taking a step back here. I don't know. Tanahashi going for a high five flow. Zack able to get his knees up. Tana going for the cloverleaf. Zack countering using his legs for like a head scissors. Going into a triangle. Tana countering that into a cloverleaf. And Zack able to counter that from a crossface into numerous holds as Tana gets to the ropes. That was the reason I put this match as high as I did right there. That little transition where they're both going for submissions was really good. Twisting around, like Zack at one point putting his feet around Tanahashi's skull and just twisting. I thought that was a cool spot. Pins back and forth. Neither man can put the other one away until all of a sudden, 1, 2, 3, the ace pinned the television champ, the guy who the only television champ we've ever known in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Zack Sabre Jr. falls to Tanahashi. I saw online the president putting himself over, but you gotta love it. It's Tanahashi. And I think it's good. I mean, as we say, he's taking a step back. He's getting older. Putting him in matches that are only lasting 15 minutes is probably good. And I love this match gimmick. This title has a gimmick where it's only 15 minutes. And that is gives reason to why you would pick up the pace, why you would wrestle really fast. I love it. I love it here. But number 5. El Desperado and Hiromu Takahashi. Despy walking out with a shirt that reads Strong Style, red and black. It's like the NWO Wolfpack El Desperado here. Hiromu coming out looking like an atom on acid, looking like a psychedelic alien. I wouldn't even call this jacket a jacket. It was like a parade float that operated as a jacket for the person wearing it. It was wild as hell. I'm not doing a good job explaining it, but I don't think anyone could do a good job explaining it. It was that crazy. This entrance gear was top notch. Hiromu Takahashi. Desperado dives on him before the bell. Excited for this one since these guys typically have been tearing it up since 2019. I would consider Desperado's breakout feud. Brawling on the outside in the early going, Desperado in control as a fight goes back into the ring. Desperado goes for the stretch muffler. He's stretching the champ's muff here. Time bomb by Hiromu. 1, 2, no. Hiromu goes for a pumping bomber taken from the LIJ faction mate. Doesn't get the pin. Pinche Loco. 1, 2. Hiromu kicks out. Can't hit the second Pinche Loco, or can't hit the second. Desperado can't hit his finishing move, the Pinche Loco, at first for a second time, but then is able to. 1, 2, 3, and if you want to crown him, crown his ass. El Desperado gets the victory here, winning the IWGP Junior title in the Dome. I swear I watched this match. It was just 4:30 in the morning and I was tired as hell. I'm recording this at 10 a.m. Lack of sleep is hitting me during this review. But speaking of hitting, Tama Tonga and Shingo definitely hit each other in this 4th match here. Just missing the podium. Never openweight title match. Tama Tonga has come a long way from Bullet Club lackey to coming out looking like Iron Man, yoked as ever. Forearms off the top of this never openweight title match, just like you want a never openweight title match in the Tokyo Dome to start. Shingo with a running senton to the floor. Shingo hits a lariat, goes for the Made in Japan. Tama cuts him off, and he's able to hit a neck breaker. Huge Supreme Flow. 1, 2, no. Huge high stack powerbomb. 1, 2. Tama kicks out. Shingo, not frustrated but determined here. Lariat turns around inside out. Throws him up for Made in Japan, but Tama able to turn it into a cutter. Both men down. Tama up, firing back, hits a lariat of his own. Tama going after a Tiger Driver. Shingo counters into a Hurricane Rana. Tama just stands up, hulks up, fires back, hits a forearm. Shingo hits the Made in Japan finally. It was like the whole match he was shooting for this move, the Made in Japan. Hits it. 1, 2. Tama kicks out. Tama counters the Made in Japan again with the Styles Clash. Then a cutter. 1, 2. Shingo kicks out. Tama doesn't know what to do, but he stays determined. He hits like a pile driver style maneuver. 1, 2, 3. Tama Tonga gets the win and wins the Never Openweight Championship in the Dome. I'm struggling not to put this 3, to be honest with you. I'm going back and forth, but it's honestly this odd respect I have for both men in the next match that I'm keeping them just on the podium for whatever reason. I don't know. Maybe I'm tired of, I'm reluctant to, give up what I know, but it's a struggle for me. Interchangeable here, I would say 3 and 4. Okada versus Bryan Danielson sits at number 3, despite what I just said. Okada with a bit of a stripped down look here, wearing white and gold, but then he goes and stands on this black light. The black light does this scanning motion, and then his jacket with the traditional Okada colors, red, gold, a bit of blue. This was fucking cool. This was fucking really cool. I don't know how that even happened. I don't even know the technology I just witnessed on this wrestling show during an entrance. And then, boom, money rains down on the Tokyo Dome. It's officially Wrestle Kingdom. Okada's making his big entrance like he does every single year. You gotta love it. This is why I woke up early. Then Danielson's music hits. A 3D dragon shows on the screen. He comes out with his eye patch. This is just cool, man. This made me feel like I was watching wrestling. This has got to be what he imagined when he left WWE, walking down in the Tokyo Dome against Okada. A little bit of an awkward run-up from Okada. Danielson catches him with a knee. Danielson, chest still bruised from the Continental Classic, going after the arm of Okada, wrenching in all the way back. Okada gets to the ropes. Okada, after the eye of Danielson, then hits a tombstone on the apron. Okada lands an arrogant stomp and then just takes off the eye patch. Elbow off the top. Rainmaker pose in the dome. Danielson lands clobbering blows almost desperately. Psycho knee, label lock, yelling tap, trying to get the Rainmaker to tap. Pulls the other arm back. Rainmaker in trouble. Okada screaming. Okada fading. Then he gets to the ropes. Danielson landing a few stomps. Okada answering with a Rainmaker. Both men down. German by Okada. Danielson saw the Rainmaker coming. Lands a knee and an elbow. Psycho knee. Okada goes for the Rainmaker. Can't get it, but lands a drop kick as Danielson hulks up. Rainmaker connects. 1, 2, 3. Okada beats Danielson in the dome. Seems to me that the match ended abruptly. Danielson looked pretty hurt. Probably a work here, but Okada stands tall in the dome. Both men bowing down to each other. That was fucking cool. Now that I'm reading the review, my own review, this match was definitely third place on this show. But number 2, the silver medal. A match that I definitely wasn't looking forward to as much as the Danielson-Okada match at the beginning of this show. But David Finlay versus Moxley versus Ospreay. New title. Not the US title, not the UK title, but I think it's the IWGP Global title. Mox enters through the crowd wearing like a silly mask. I think it's a Deadpool mask. Lots of people popped for this on Twitter, but I thought it was kind of silly. They go after Finlay right away as the bell sounds, even putting him through a table. AEW versus Bullet Club here. He does end up getting the upper hand. Gato hands him a shillelagh. Mox is bleeding. David whipping the blood from Moxley's forehead all over his chest here. Continues to stay on him. Ospreay takes both of them out with a big moonsault from the top rope to the floor as David's bleeding from his nose. Mox punches Ospreay out of the sky here. That was kind of a cool spot here. Going to the well too many times. Ospreay going up top. You know Ospreay's going to be the high flyer in this match. Death Rider 1, 2, no. Mox pile drives Finlay on Ospreay. David power bombs Ospreay on Mox as chairs come into play. Stun Dog Millionaire, rock bottom backbreaker, Attitude Era, eat your heart out here. Hidden blade from Ospreay to Mox. Finlay throws out Will Ospreay and goes for pin on Mox. The War Dogs come out to attack the other two competitors other than their faction leader David Finlay. Ospreay and Mox fight them off and even put their asses through a table. Alex Coughlin comically falls through this Japanese table in the patented Japanese table spot of the show. Just his ass breaks through the table in a hole, and his knees and his shoulders hanging out all goofy. He's having just to sell this while I'm sure looking around thinking, who the hell is going to get me off of this table here? Gabe Kidd's already taken out. They don't know what to do. Low blow from Finlay. 1-2. Mox hits out. Death Rider to Finlay. Hidden blade to Mox. Stormbreaker. Finlay into Oblivion, which is his big move, onto Ospreay. 1-2. No. Curb stomp knee thing by Finlay. Drops Ospreay on his knees from the suplex position. Don't even know what that's called. GTS Plex, I don't know. 1, 2, 3. David Finlay is the first ever IWGP Global Champion here. So there you go. You have the AEW mainstay in Mox. You have the guy who's leaving for AEW in Will Ospreay. And then you have David Finlay, the guy that's sticking around, put him over. That's kind of obvious. We kind of all saw that from a mile away, but it was great when we got there. But then when Finlay is leaving, he gets in Ziggler's face and then even pushes Ziggler. There's a bit of a brawl here. I'm thinking Ziggler would have just been a tag guy because he came out with his brother, came out before the tag match. But it looks like we're going to get Ziggler and Finlay for the IWGP Global Championship somewhere down the line in 2024. Danielson Okada was great, but the intricate finishers and the variations of how they were able to work with each other in a triple threat match kind of put this match above the Danielson Okada match, in my opinion. Even like the lull spot of this match, we saw the Japanese table spot of the night. So you got to put it at number 2. But number 1, the main event, the match that I was saying that Danielson Okada would be better than. It was not better than Naito versus Sanada, IWGP World Heavyweight Championship match. Sanada has a classic look as he comes out down the ramp as champion. Almost a year-long experimental journey with this championship. Definitely not best for New Japan, I would say, to hold this championship, but definitely elevated Sanada holding this championship, which you got to elevate the stars, so it might work out in the future. I don't know. Crowd behind the challenger. Naito slows the pace down to start this one. Makes me feel like they're going long, they're going the distance or something. Momentum swinging Naito's way again after Sanada fires up. Sanada textbook leapfrog, first forward, then backwards. Plancha goes outside as he fires back, hitting a springboard dropkick. Naito sweeps the leg as action spills to the floor. Frankensteiner from Naito. Sanada counters the Destino into the Dragon Screw. Shining Wizard from Sanada. Moonsault. Naito gets his knees up. Both men down. Esperanza by Naito. Destino connects. Crowd starting to buzz here. You just feel like kind of this like not cheering, but just like you can hear them like, oh shit, man, you see what's going on? Oh shit, Naito might do it here. I don't speak Japanese, but it just seems like collectively that's what the crowd was kind of doing. Destino stopped by a cutter from Sanada. Both men down again. Sanada lands the moonsault at the 30-minute mark. Another moonsault. 1-2. Naito kicks out. Destino from Naito going for another one, but doesn't really get all of it. 1-2. Sanada kicks out. Can't hit a third one. Champ hits a DDT. Crowd gets even louder as both men are down. Both men feeling the effects of this one. Strike battle. Sanada hits a Destino. Naito hits one again. Sanada rolls up in a bridge and bridges back. People have seen this victory before. 1-2. Naito kicks out. Shining Wizard. The significance of Sanada hitting the Shining Wizard is he was trained by Muta. Naito down here. Naito pops up, hits a DDT. Valencia. Naito on his feet. Crowd on theirs. Destino connects for the 5th time in this match. 1, 2, 3. Boom. The crowd got what they wanted. I got what I wanted. Naito bleeding from his eye. Something gashed his head right at the end of this match here. The ref grabs the towel, puts it on his head. They have a conversation like, hey man, do you still want to do this shit? Your eye is definitely fucked up. And he's like, yeah man, I still want to do this shit. And just as he stands up to cut this great promo against his former faction mate, winning the title in the Dome for the 2nd time, he gets attacked by Evil and Dick fucking Togo. Not like this. Of course, the significance of this is Evil and Sanada were tag champions under Naito in LIJ. Evil left years ago, won the IWGP title, hasn't reached that success since Naito beat him during the pandemic. Sanada has since left, formed his own faction, Just 5 Guys, beat, I forget who he beat for the title, honestly, but won the title, and now loses to Naito again. Evil comes out, attacks him, but Sanada's not letting him get attacked like that. Just because they have left each other doesn't mean he has this lack of respect for Naito like Evil has. He attacks Evil. He attacks Dick Togo. He leaves them laying, lets them run. And then it all sets in. After that fight just took place, Sanada actually lost. Naito still has to cut the big Dome promo. And as he starts to cut the Dome promo, Sonata leaves. He starts crying, reminiscent of Wrestle Kingdom 9 when Okada left crying and Tanahashi stood tall. Sonata's crying here with Naito standing tall, cutting a promo. God damn, do I love Wrestle Kingdom. You got Naito and Evil again. Hopefully Naito can pull something out of Evil that we haven't seen in years, because he pulled it out of Sonata tonight. And you also got Finlay versus Ziggler. Will Okada stick around? I hope he does. There are those rumors that he's going to WWE. Hopefully he doesn't. I don't know. But goddamn do I love Wrestle Kingdom. Goddamn do I love pro wrestling. Fly high. I'm out.